what's up, everybody? Rob Swanson here with another episode of FreedomCast. This is episode number 7, and today we're going to dive into the Freedom Blueprint. In fact, we're going to take the 5 steps of creating freedom in your life, and we're going to take step number 1, and we're going to break it down. Now, so that you can see the awesome logo for Real Estate From Anywhere, I'm going to take the sunglasses off my hat. I pretty much don't walk around Colorado without a pair of sunglasses. We are a mile high and the sun is bright and it messes up my eyes. So I almost always have a pair of sunglasses on my head or on my hat. But Real Estate From Anywhere, that is the real estate investing company that we operate and help people create financial freedom. And that's what we're going to dive into in this episode. The first step in the 5-step plan to creating financial freedom, and you can go listen to the very first episode of FreedomCast, and I break down the 5 steps. I just talk about them. I give you bullet points. Go back and listen to that episode because it lays out a very simple framework and a very simple game plan that anyone can follow to create financial freedom. Anyone can follow to create financial freedom in their life. Now, on this show, we are going to talk about the first step in that game plan, and that is to increase your income. You're never going to create wealth. You're never going to create financial freedom. You're never going to accomplish the things that you want financially in your life until you figure out how to increase your income. Because here's the thing, there's this law that says as your income goes up, you will increase your lifestyle to absorb the extra space, right? That's what almost everybody does. And so while we have step 1 as increasing your income, step number 2 is reducing and controlling your expenses. We're not going to go into step 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to focus on step 1, increasing your income, because this is the first fundamental place that you have to start in order to get there. Now, there is one thing that is the absolute most important key to increasing your income. Anybody can do this. Most people choose not to because it takes some effort. It takes some work. It takes a true desire to make it happen. You know, I talk to a lot of real estate investors. I talk to a lot of potential real estate investors. I talk to a lot of people, frankly, that just want to create a better life, more financial stability, more benefit out of life and enjoy life more. And this number one thing is the bridge between where most people are and where they want to be. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to tell you what it is in a minute, but I want to tell you why first. There is this myth in the world that says you have to have money in order to make money. There's a myth that says you have to have money in order to make money. That is not true. That's a lie. I cannot tell you how many business deals, real estate investment deals, deals in general that I have done that I have been able to make money without having or without using money. Now, the truth is that you have to have money in order to invest money. So there are 2 components to this idea that people misconstrue. They mix up all of the time. And the first one is you've got to have money to make money. That's false. You do not have to have money to make money, but you do have to have money in order to invest money. And so investing is the bridge typically from an active effort, an active income, to passive income. And so step 1 in the Freedom Blueprint is to increase your income. What are you going to do? What are you doing to increase your income? That's the question. Now, there's a lot of people, and I hear this all the time. Listen to this. Rob, I've got the golden handcuffs. I make too much money at my job that I hate, that I don't enjoy doing, that I would love to quit, but I make so much money, or I'm so much in debt that I can't get out. I have to stay here and work for 20, 30, 40 years and hope that somewhere downfield, I'm going to be able to get what I want out of life and enjoy. What a miserable plan. I got to be honest with you. That's an absolutely miserable plan. See, these golden handcuffs, people tell themselves the lie that they make too much money where they're at and that they could never replace it with another source of income. Well, usually the reason this happens, and this is from talking to thousands of people over the years. Usually the reason this happens is because people have a misaligned set of priorities. A misaligned set of priorities. They don't really want it bad enough. My question to you is, do you want it bad enough? Only you can ever answer that. Do you truly want what freedom, financial freedom, can provide for you and your family? Do you truly want time freedom? Do you truly want financial freedom? Do you truly want relationship freedom? Do you truly want freedom in your life? Well, a lot of times, all it comes down to is an alignment of your priorities, knowing what you want and creating a plan and a path to get there. That's what FreedomCast is all about. It's all about helping motivate you to say, you know what, I'm sick and tired of the sick and tired. I'm done with the status quo. I'm going to do something different, right? You have to decide and you have to align your priorities to say, I know where I'm headed, I know what I want, and I'm going to do the things that will result in me getting there. That's what FreedomCast is all about. I want to help you figure those pieces out. Now, the second thing is paralyzing fear. People are afraid. Now, I'll be honest with you, I've been self-employed for almost 20 years. And other than how I'm wired, like I'm pretty wired as a driving, go-getting, results-oriented person. I don't understand this paralyzing fear for stepping out and creating your own path, except for the fact that I do clearly understand there are different personalities and different personalities want different things. Now, we're going to talk about whichever side of that personality curve you sit on. I'm going to talk to you about how to increase your income if you're inside that personality curve that says, I don't really want to go out and do it on my own. I want to work inside of a system, inside of a structure. I want somebody to help me get there. But this idea of paralyzing fear, see, this is what I don't truly get about this whole concept. When you are beholden to somebody else, making decisions, providing you things, providing you an income, providing you a job, you're at the mercy of their decisions, their business, their approach, right? And that's not necessarily a bad thing. But I think everybody, including all of my team members here, should be asking the question, how can I make enough money, make more money than what it costs me to survive and have a nice lifestyle, make more money so that I can begin to invest? Because it does take money to invest. It does not take money to make more money. And that's the key component that I want to break down. Misaligned priorities. You just don't do it. Paralyzing fear. The third thing is a lack of effort. You know what? It's just easier to flip on the TV and be entertained than it is to put in the hard work, take the risk, and do the thing that you know will ultimately lead you to and guide you to success in what you want in life. Most people will not put in the effort. If you'll put in the effort, if you follow a proven plan, if you look at who's already done it, are they successful? Has it worked for them? Have they gotten where they want to be? If you'll start asking these questions, you can say, okay, and now I know my priorities. Number 2, now I know how to overcome the fear. Number 3, now I'm going to put in the effort, because when the fear goes away and the priorities are clear, you'll put in the effort. Most people won't put in the effort because they're not sure where they're headed. And it seems like they're just going to spin their wheels and run on this hamster wheel that they're already doing anyway. So why would I run on a second hamster wheel? Now I'm just working twice the effort and I'm not sure that I'm going to actually get anywhere. Which brings me to the number one thing that it takes to make extra money, increase your income, and that is knowledge. Period, simple, end of story. Knowledge is the number one thing that allows you to actually make money without having money. When you know how money is made, when you know how to create money, when you know how to provide value and do things in the world that people will pay you for, you're in a really good spot. Now, let me give you an example. My son is 15 years old, and he decided that he wanted to make money. He doesn't have any money. And so he decided, well, I'm going to start a business, and I'm going to create a little bit of a side hustle here, and which for him is not really a side hustle because there's no main hustle. There's just, let me start a business and let me go make some money doing some commercial window washing jobs. Well, so I provided him some guidance and some help and some insight. And we had this conversation, and he started his window washing company. And through this process, he ends up getting paid as a 15-year-old between $70 and $80 an hour doing commercial window washing jobs. Do you know how much money that is to a 15-year-old kid? Do you know how much money that is to most adults? If most adults would do something to begin earning an income, an active income, to increase above what they're being paid in their job, hourly or via a salary, create something that creates more income above what you're doing right now, it puts you in a place to make more money without having to start with money. Knowledge is the secret ingredient that most people miss. Now, from knowledge, this is the single most important thing when it comes to making more money. You have to create value in the world. Okay? Understand, you have to create value. People will pay you for value if you know how to create value. So if you learn a task or a skill set or a money-making strategy, okay, if you learn how to do it, if you put in the effort, if you get rid of the fear because now you know what to do and you're clear on your priorities and your alignment, guess what happens? You can actually make more money from knowledge. So here's a question that I ask people all the time. If you had $5,000 to invest, $5,000 to invest, okay? You've made more money than your expenses and you've been able to stock aside, save $5,000. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you, that if you follow the full components of the Freedom Blueprint plan, you're going to have 3 to 6 months of your living expenses saved away as an insurance rainy day fund before you do anything else. I'm going to assume you've done that. You've stocked it away. Okay, so you got smart. You figured out how to hustle, make a little bit more money, reduce expenses. You created the gap. You created this net cash flow gap that put money into your pocket. Key number 1. The next piece then is now you've got $5,000 saved into your personal investment fund, what are you going to do? You know what most people do? They go spend half of it or all of it on Bitcoin. They go buy Bitcoin. Listen, I'm a believer in cryptocurrency. I think it's a smart move to be invested, to maybe do some speculation, but not if it's your first and only $5,000. That doesn't make any sense because you don't control it. That is a much more speculative and out of your control investment. There's no historical track record to it other than it was created and it's always gone up. The other thing that people do is say, well, I got $5,000. Can I buy a property? Can I put some money in a stock? Can I buy a stock? Can I buy this insider tip stock that I just heard my neighbor tell me standing out at the driveway? Man, maybe I should go buy this because he sounds like he's doing really well with it, right? These are misunderstandings of actually how to invest and how to take the money that you're starting to accumulate and do good with. The first key is invest in your knowledge. Don't take $5,000 and throw it into the stock market or throw it into a individual stock or throw it into cryptocurrency. Don't do that. That doesn't make sense. Now, if you want to take $5,000 and start a business because you have the knowledge of how the business works, how things operate, I could get behind that because it's something that you control. See, the difference here is if you've got your first $5,000 to invest, you have to invest in knowledge first. And I want you to invest in knowledge that increases your earning potential. You have to learn how to make more money. Now, in the episodes of FreedomCast, I've talked about the 8 investment criteria that I use to build wealth, make investment decisions. And number 4 is margin. And so if you are going to say, I've got $5,000 or whatever it is, if your income has grown and your expenses have ballooned and mushroomed with it, and you've not created a net position for yourself to begin towards saving and investing, step number 1 is figure out how to do that. Invest in the knowledge that allows you to create high margin returns, high margin income. Okay, this is an active income strategy. When you're first getting started, you cannot take $5,000 and put it to work passively. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to do anything. So the first bit of understanding here is understand that your first $5,000, you have to invest in the number 1 asset that will be with you for the rest of your life, and that is your brain. You've got to get knowledge. See, once you get knowledge, then you can do these next steps. Then you can say, hey, I want to be self-employed. I want to start a business. I want to create a side hustle. I want to keep my job. I like my job. I enjoy what I do, but I want to create a side hustle to create that gap, that income gap that starts to make you more money. What if you're working a job? Okay, that's where these decisions, this side hustle, this knowledge comes into play because most of the time there's a limit to the earning potential inside of a traditional W-2 or even 1099 job, employee or independent contractor. There's generally a cap. It's a trade of time and skill for a certain set amount of dollars. Now, sales, if you're in sales, that is one of the positions as a W-2 employee or as a 1099 contractor that oftentimes has an unlimited upside cap and still allows you to work inside the system. Now, so these things are exactly why we created the Real Estate From Anywhere franchise, because conversation after conversation after conversation with people for years has led me to realize that people want make more. They want to earn. They want to increase that earning gap so that they can invest, but they need a vehicle to do it. Some people are entrepreneurial. They're entrepreneurial. They will create the system. Other people are what's known as intrapreneurial. They want to operate the system. And so what we've created with Real Estate from Anywhere is a franchise system, a franchise opportunity that allows an entrepreneurial person to say, I don't want to create the system. I don't want to start from scratch. I want to reduce my risk with a proven model. I want to step into something that's already working. I want to step into something that is designed and set up the way Rob thinks about it. It's simple. There's a system. It's scalable. It's high margin. It creates cash flow and so on. These are the things that go into and have gone into creating the Real Estate from Anywhere system. Now, if we just look at this and talk about the two different types of people, there's the entrepreneur and there's the intrapreneur. Let me just give you a definition between the two because I think this is interesting and you need to be thinking about where do you fall on this scale. An entrepreneur is a person, and I'm just going to read the definition right here, is a person who operates, organizes, and operates a business or businesses taking on greater than normal financial risk in order to do so. That's an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. I've always taken on greater financial risk, and I've always put in more effort to create a system and then operate that system as a business. That's what an entrepreneur does. Now, that's not how every person is wired. And that's why our Real Estate from Anywhere franchise caters to both of these types of people. Okay, an intrapreneur. An intrapreneur, somebody that steps into an organization and operates, is a manager within a company who promotes innovative product development and marketing. That's an intrapreneur. So there's someone, an intrapreneur is someone that drives the bottom line. Someone that innovates product development, innovates marketing, adds to the bottom line of a company. You know, around here, we have a set of core values. And the 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth core value that we have out of 9 is ask questions and innovate. Now, we use our core values as the backbone for hiring. This is how we hire people. We look at people and say, do they align with our core values? This is how we bring franchisees into our ecosystem and hand them the keys to the kingdom and say, here, go operate your business. Because as a franchisee, it's not my business. I've just created all the systems. I'm the entrepreneur that created all of the systems, the structure, and took on the greater financial risk to get there and do it so that an entrepreneur can own their own business, step in, and operate a proven model. So our core value number 4 is ask questions and innovate. The reason we have that is because everybody in this office, when we hire people, we're looking at them and we're asking the question, are they willing to, will they ask questions and innovate? Because guess what? If people will ask questions and innovate, then what happens? We have entrepreneurs working inside of our organization that are looking to innovate, improve, add to the bottom line, and be rewarded financially. See, I think that anybody that comes through our organization, it's my job as the CEO to figure out what do they want out of life? What gets them excited? What is the thing that they want to do in life that they wonder whether they ever will be able to do? And I want to figure out how to help them get there, right? And so that's why these core values are important to us, and it's important to this whole process. Because if we go back to what we're talking about, step number 1 in the Freedom Blueprint is increase your income. Well, guess how everybody here gets to increase their income? Ask questions, innovate. The next one is simplify everything, do more with less. So when people come into this operation and join our team and are working in one of the capacities here, one of the positions, and they can add value to the bottom line, they can add value to the business, guess what happens? They can increase their income as an entrepreneur inside of our organization. And guess what we want them to then do? Continue following the rest of the steps in the Freedom Blueprint plan, increase their income, control and or decrease their expenses, and ultimately move and replace their active income with passive income. See, this is the trap that most people fall into. If you're watching this on video, I'm pulling it up here, and what I have is, I have the letters TRAP, trap, TRAP. And I took a piece of paper and I drew a line straight up and down, and I drew another line and I bisected it right in half, side to side. So I have an X, a straight up and down X. And in the upper left quadrant of that X, I wrote a T, and that stands for transactional income. In the upper right quadrant, I wrote an R. That stands for residual income. In the lower left, I wrote an A. That stands for active income. And in the lower right, I wrote a P. Stands for passive income. Now, the top line in this chart, the T and the R, transactional income and residual income, is the frequency that you get paid. See, people misconstrue and mistake residual income with passive income all the time. They mistake residual income with passive income. They're not the same thing. Residual income is the frequency that you get paid. You can do the work one time and get paid multiple times thereafter. That's residual income versus transactional income is what most people do. They do a job once, they get paid for it. Then they have to go out and do another job and get paid for it, do another job and get paid for it. I want, on the frequency side of the equation, I want you to figure out how to move from transactional to residual income. Now, the bottom part of the graph then is effort. And you've got active and passive income. Active income requires your time, your effort, your physical presence to do something. That's active income. You're doing something on a regular basis. Whereas passive income does not require your physical presence. This can come in the form of a business. This can come in the form of real estate. This can come in the form of a variety of other things, okay? And so the goal here is to move your frequency of getting paid from transactional to residual and your effort from getting paid from active to passive. The entire Freedom Blueprint is based on that concept. How do you start where you're at, create a framework to move your transactional active income into residual passive income? And there's a process that people go through to get there. And that is what we talk about on FreedomCast. How do we get you out of the trap? How do we get you into residual passive income? Well, it goes back to figuring out your priorities, make the decision to do it. It will never happen until you decide it's going to happen. You have to decide. Number 2, this whole fear thing, you've got to gain knowledge to reduce fear. Knowledge is the fear crusher. If you increase your knowledge, by listening to FreedomCast, by paying attention to other content and things that I put out there, by going through some of our educational training products, by attending our events, and rubbing elbows with people that have done it, are doing it, and are interested and excited to teach it to others. That's what this is all about. Get rid of the lack of effort. Get off the couch. Go do it. If you decide and prioritize that it's going to happen, you get the knowledge to reduce the fear, then get off the couch and go make it happen. Put in the effort. You know, this isn't about working to the grindstone for the next 40 years or 30 years or 20 years or 10 years. With the right strategy and the right approach, most people can make that transition, even people with the golden handcuffs, even people that have high active earned income today, even people that make a lot of money can make the transition with the right effort, with the right knowledge, and putting the priorities in place to make it happen. Even people with golden handcuffs can make the transition to residual passive income. You know what happens when that happens? You get to start doing the things you want to do when you want to do them. You're not restricted financially. You're not restricted by time. You're not restricted by someone else that controls permissions. See, that's what the Freedom Blueprint is all about. And that's what we talk about here on FreedomCast. How can you make that transition? I hope this episode gave you something to think about. I hope it's something that you'll start to dive in deeper, continue to listen to FreedomCast. And here's my ask. Would you share this podcast on social media? Would you share it on your Facebook, on your LinkedIn, on Twitter, and anywhere else that you can share this with? If you got value out of this, would you help me share this value with more people? That's my ask. And then if you'd go to iTunes and subscribe to this show, the FreedomCast, and give us a rating, we would appreciate it. It tells me that we're on the right track. And when we're on the right track, we'll keep doing more and more and more because it gets us excited. I enjoy the heck out of this. And so do me that favor, share this with someone that you think can get value out of it. Go like us on iTunes and give us a rating. Tell us what you thought about it. We would appreciate it. So for FreedomCast, this is Rob Swanson, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.